Welcome to the Foodie Lounge presented by IndiaInTax.com and Sulekha.com. Myself, Levin Johnson. I've got Arjun here to assist me. Today's recipe is going to be Kari Mandi. So we'll be running through the ingredients. You'd be requiring 5 grams of each vegetable approximately. We got brinjal cut into cubes, that's 5 grams. Then you need snake gourd, carrots, chow chow, ladyfingers 5 grams, yam 5 grams, French beans, drumsticks, pumpkin white 5 grams, sambar onion 10 grams, green chilies just slit into half 5 grams, curry leaves 5 grams, gingerly oil you might need 20 ml, whole red chili 5 grams, mustard seeds 8 grams, jeera 8 grams, split urad dal 8 grams, methi seeds 5 grams, tamarind soaked in for the pulp 15 grams, chopped tomatoes 2 in numbers. This is just the water that's just strained off from the rice being soaked in overnight or for a couple of hours. Hing powder 5 grams, chili powder 8 grams, dhania powder 15 grams, turmeric powder 5 grams, jeera powder again 8 grams, jaggery 5 grams, and salt just for the seasoning. You can start off with some gingerly oil. This is just to temper all the dry spices that we got in here. We're going to be just shallow fry just this ladyfingers, which is also called okra. The rest of the vegetables are all going to be boiled, except for this one, which is broiled instead of boiled. When you boil okra, it starts to tend to break off and really does lose the shape. And the rest of the vegetable is going to stay in shape. Just when you can see the seeds popping out, and it is ready, and it's pretty much cooked. So we're going to strain the okra off and keep it in separate, and we're going to add it to the Kari Mandi later on. With the same oil, you can start off with the rest of the tempering of the spices here. Just throw in 1 or 2 of the dry red chilies. It's just for tempering. Then the mustard seeds, cumin seeds, split urad dal 8 grams, and very little of methi. This can make your gravy a bit bitter if you put too much of it. So the methi seeds you got to be a bit careful of. Now goes the sambar onions, the split green chilies, and the curry leaves. You got to wait till the sambar onion sort of gets sorted off before you put in the vegetables. When you see that these onions have started to sweat off, when it starts to sweat off, that's when you're just ready to go to the next stage of putting the spices in. We'll be adding the vegetables: chow chow, snake gourd, yam, beans, drumsticks, carrots, aubergines, the eggplant. These are the sort of vegetables which pretty much takes same amount of time if all cut in the same size. The 2 vegetables that we're going to hold on to is the ladyfinger, which is going to go the last minute, and the white pumpkin. And white pumpkin is because of the soft nature, that has to go in a bit later on. Just a quick stir, and then you could start going on with the dry spices here: turmeric powder, chili powder, coriander powder, roasted cumin powder, hing. You got to be a bit careful with hing. Not too much, 5 grams of hing. Give it a good mix. So make sure the spices gets cooked evenly. When you could start to smell the spices broiled, you add in the tomatoes and wait for it to be mashed. A bit of sweating of the tomatoes, and then the tamarind pulp. At this stage, you could add in the rice water. You'd be wondering why you've been putting rice water to this. This is just to add in the consistency to the Kari Mandi, because there's no other paste like cashew paste or the couscous paste going in to give it the consistency that we require. So at this point, you could just get all the vegetables soaked in. You could also add in some more water to it, which is eventually going to reduce after the vegetables are cooked. A nice good stir, and you could get the lid on for the vegetables to cook. That's around 7 to 8 minutes of cooking until now. What we have to do now at this point is just check for this vegetables is cooked, the biggest piece is what you want to try. So you could literally take one in your hand and try to break it. If it breaks, then it's fine, but it might take another 4 to 5 minutes now. So you might need a little more water, and halfway through the cooking you might want to add some salt, because it's not just the gravy that needs a seasoning, it's just the vegetables has to soak in and have the seasoning as well. And give it a one good stir, and you can put the lid back on again and wait for the vegetables to be fully cooked. There's almost 15 minutes of boiling now with the lid on, and as a check, as we were just saying, just take the biggest piece, or probably the drumstick is the hardest one, so just try to break it in. If it starts to break, and that's pretty much done. So at this point you could get this white pumpkin in. This takes around 3 to 4 minutes to cook, being a soft vegetable, and you could add in some more water, mix it all in, and we can get the lid back on and wait for the white pumpkins to be cooked. So that's taken up almost 15 minutes put together. After we put the white pumpkin in, given it another 3 or 4 minutes, we got to add in a bit more of jaggery now, something like crushed jaggery, just to smoothen the tanginess of the tamarind. And you could add in the ladyfinger, which was broiled at the earlier stage, just a quick mix. And you could adjust the consistency and add as much water you want, depending on how thick you want the gravy. And you could also adjust the seasoning if at all you require. You can always taste it. It's the kind of final tempering that you want to pour it on. You could give it a good mix again a little bit, so the garnish still stays in the top. And Kari Mandi is ready for the table.